Ah, greetings and welcome to the third and sadly final All Things 80s Christmas party of 2024. Now, I already see the guests lined up. I will bring them on very soon. I'm just going to get through a quick couple of formalities. So, first of all, if you are watching this either in live form or in the replay, thank you for tuning in. And it was brought to my attention that on last week's stream, I did offer the same video clips, I should say, I had done the previous week. So I took the time out this week and we have 5 more. And I will give you the options here very quickly. So if you are kind enough to send in a super chat, you may pick one of the following. All I want is Star Wars. Every day is Star Wars Day. Star Wars Gifts for Christmas. Not Welcome at Christmas. Or The Empire Strikes Back Daily. And that's running across the bottom, so I can take this slide from the screen. And I will now bring on the guests who have lined up. So first of all, you all know this guy. He's always here. I'm very happy to have him. It's Monkey Boy. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks, man. Look at my stupid face. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Now, is that a glass of sherry?
It is, yes. Yes.
It's very dark.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure there's quite enough in there, but
well, we'll see. Next up, another good friend of the channel. It's Travels and More with Jason F, and he's not here.
Oh, it's
but
Roland
Rat is there. Ah, hey, Rat fans. Yes.
Hey.
All right, Jason. Good to see you again.
Oh man, all right, dude.
And
hello.
Our next guest was the star of the show last year, but he's back again. It's Ed. How are you, Ed?
Very good, thank you.
Hello, dude.
Excellent. Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Likewise.
And I see you're sporting a nice Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not a vintage one, but a repro.
Yeah. Iron Maiden, nevertheless. Any Iron Maiden is good Iron Maiden.
The artwork is so good, isn't it? You know,
it really is. And that's the thing about Iron Maiden. As good as the music was as a kid or as a teenager, in fact, I really did appreciate buying those albums just to study the covers.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And you always would spend that little bit extra just looking for the hidden messages.
Yeah.
And, I think the best one was probably on Power Slave. Anyone know what that was?
Yeah, this is the Power Slave t-shirt.
Oh, yes, it is.
What was the hidden message? What was the Easter egg? What was it?
Well, the hidden message was scribbled onto the side of the pyramid. It said, Indiana Jones was here.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll look for that later.
I liked the Somewhere in Time one. That was quite a bit to look at in that.
Oh yeah, a lot, because they had all the sort of song titles hidden in there, and I was going to say I just had a moment where I confused Duran Duran with Iron Maiden. I was going to say they had the Rum Runner, but Rum Runner was the club Iron Maiden played at before they became big. Was it the Ruskin Arms was the pub that Iron Maiden played at, and that's the name of the pub on the cover of the album. It's very cool. Yeah. So
you probably wouldn't want Simon Le Bon flying that 747, would you? Wouldn't want that sort of
No. We'll leave that in the Dickinson's capable hands. But the first chat comes from Monkey Boy. Merry Christmas, and indeed Merry Christmas to everyone. And Tom is here. Good to see you, Tom.
All right, Tom.
And Ben is also here. Hi to all in the chat. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas, Ben. Martin says hi, Merry Christmas, and right back at you. And Seth, good to see you as well, Seth.
All right, dude.
So now, I don't know about you guys, but I just had the horrible thought that today is obviously Sunday, and
that is a horrible thought.
Well, yeah, but the horrible thought is Christmas is Wednesday. How did we get to this point? I am not prepared at all.
that sort of last 10 days always seems like a bit of a sprint, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's someone at my front door. Hang on, back in a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because it was always the case as a child. December would just take forever to go by.
Yeah.
But latterly,
Yeah,
it's just flying by.
Mm.
I think that was the Advent calendar, though, wasn't it? It gave you
Yeah.
that build-up of each
Yeah.
day. It
Yeah.
was not just a door opening; it was the
Right.
full. What were you
Yeah.
doing that day? And yeah,
Yeah,
it just was more exciting, I think, when you were
it really
little and there
was.
was a big build-up.
Yeah, it really was a big build-up. And I think I may have said this in previous Christmas live streams, but there was one quote from Timmy Mallet that will always stick in my head. So he was doing the Wide Awake Club, or it may have been Wackaday, on Christmas Eve. And he said, "Oh, today is Christmas Eve. It's the longest day of the year," which obviously is not correct in terms of sort of solar activity. But for kids, it was the longest day of the year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you still get that sort of Christmas Eve excitement, or is that kind of long gone?
No, I think that
Yeah.
that's long gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think,
I think when
Yeah,
you've
I
got
think-
children, there's a bit more build-up there.
Right,
If you've got
yeah.
young children, there's still you revisit it a little bit, don't you?
Yeah.
But
Right.
no, I think as a standalone adult, maybe it's
Yeah.
not quite the same. And,
No.
yeah.
No, I think it was the whole concept of some mystery man arriving on a sleigh and then leaving all these amazing toys for you. That's what kind of made it special. As an adult, there's none of that, obviously. But what I've kind of learned is I need to stop trying to recreate memories and just make new memories, because no matter how hard I try, you can never replicate the past. It will never be as good. So just hold on to those memories and do what you can to make a new memory. I think that's the way I'm going to try and approach things going forward, because I tried to do the same rituals, the same things I did. And for that fleeting second, it feels good, but then it's just not the same. So rather than focus on the past, focus on the present and try to make new memories. Maybe that's the best way to go forward.
Did you make a trifle this year, Dean, or did you write it off because the sherry wasn't good enough?
No, I will be starting that on Tuesday.
No.
Yes. So as I said last time, it was almost impossible to find cream sherry in Thailand, and I did find a sherry, but it's definitely not a cream sherry. It's got a slight bitterness to it, so I may have to sort of hold back a bit and not quite so much in.
Well,
But,
I think sherry is one of those drinks where you can only call it sherry if it's from Jerez in Spain. It's a bit like
Yes.
champagne can only be called champagne if it's
Yeah.
from Champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I bought is definitely from Spain. I think it was called Tio Pepe or something. I was looking for
authentic.
Yeah. Now, what was the one that had the commercial with the butler? Was that Harvey's
Bristol
was it
cream.
Harvey?
That
Bristol cream.
wasn't that
Harvey's
Croft
Bristol
original?
cream, yeah.
Oh.
Croft. Ah.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't remember. I like a bit of Croft as well. That's okay, but it's a lot lighter and it's a bit fresher.
Yeah, because obviously when I brought the bottle back, I did take a quick sample of it. I thought, well, it's definitely sherry, but it's not got that same sweetness. So I'll maybe have to sort of hold back when I soak the sponge. But yeah, I will try to document the process of my sherry building. Or sherry trifle building, I should say.
Check it on your second channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now,
do you pre-soak the sponges, Dean? Do you give them a good overnight soaking in the alcohol? Is that part of the method?
No. Basically, cut the sponge, put it in the bowl, soak it with the sherry, and then proceed to make the jelly. So
Right.
we're talking a good, 10, 15 minutes of soaking, which is plenty enough.
Right. Potent enough
And,
like that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, though, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos on other people making sherry trifle. And my God, I'm sure they tasted good, but their presentation was just horrendous. It was just an absolute mess. And I always think part of a trifle is, of course, it has to taste good, but it has to look good as well. It has to look the part. So I'm always wiping the bowl as each layer goes in. I don't want any splatter up the sides, and just make it look as nice as possible. But I've managed to acquire all the ingredients, so it should be okay. And speaking of ingredients, so Jason, I'm sure you would have seen in your travels to Thailand the supermarket called Tops.
Yes.
Yes. Well, they have a reasonable import section.
Oh, yeah, very
And
good.
back in November, they had a lot of frozen turkeys. So I thought, okay, no problem. I can get that the week before Christmas. Well, we went there last Thursday. They were all gone.
I was about to say, I bet they've been gone.
Yeah. So I went onto the Thai shopping website. I just typed in frozen turkey and they had it.
That's good.
But, well, the story ends well, but normally on the shopping website, it tells you an expected delivery date. And if you don't get it by that date, you get money back. Well, on this particular page, I had, obviously as well, I should stress, I have to do a lot of copying and pasting into Google Translate. So under shipping, it had some Thai language. So I copied and pasted, and it said, oh, we cannot provide tracking because the seller will deliver it himself. I thought, oh, that sounds a bit dodgy. But I had a button for contact seller. So I had Mrs. 88 contact the seller. And he said, oh, no problem. We can get that to you. It's not a big deal. So I said, okay, fine. So I placed the order. And then I got an indication saying this should be delivered by the 25th. And I thought, well, a frozen turkey arriving on the 25th is not going to work.
Nah.
I was sitting yesterday, less than approximately 20 hours after placing the order, and the guy showed up with it.
Blimey.
So got the turkey.
Was he on a moped as well?
No, he came in a pickup truck.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know where he came from because that thing was still rock solid. So we had it defrosting today, so it should be okay. So I can do the preparation on Tuesday. But I was quite amazed at that because I don't know about the UK, but in America, I would order something on Amazon or eBay, and it could take up to sort of 2 weeks to get here. But
Really?
yeah, Thailand's pretty efficient at delivering stuff.
I mean, I know if I order stuff from Amazon with Prime,
Yeah.
I'm virtually guaranteed the next day. And so far, I've noticed when I've ordered stuff with Prime, it is literally the next day. I could put an order in. So I could put an order in right now or 8 o'clock at night, and it would say, getting delivered tomorrow. And I'm like, blimey.
Yeah.
Not seen any turkeys on there,
that's
though.
what you're paying for.
Are they
Yeah.
doing turkeys now on Amazon Prime? I'm not. I know they
They
do.
do
They do
everything
some
else,
food, don't
including
they?
food.
But do
Yeah.
they? Okay.
I actually had one amazing situation in Thailand where around about 9 in the morning, I ordered a couple of Funko Pops for Mrs. 88's collection. And they were delivered by about 3 p.m. that same day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Quite incredible.
Mm.
But just to get up with the chat real quick, Des T is here wishing us all a Merry Christmas and the same to you, sir.
Oh, it is.
And Ben says hi to Monkey Boys Travels. Monkey Boy Toys Travels and more with Jason and Ed. Well, thank you, Ben. And Tree Theodore, Merry Christmas to all. Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Hello, Tree.
True.
And Boba Fan says, Merry Christmas all. So let's just jump
man.
right into our first segment. Now, I've got a few to pick from. We will do, let's pick a toy. So as always, I've at random selected a few things from an old catalogue, and we'll go through them real quick. We can discuss memories of them, but you have to pick one for Christmas. So obviously, first of all, we have the Ewok village. And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't have wanted it back in the 80s, and I really don't want it today. Is that something that appeals to you guys?
I've got it.
Yeah, but
No.
no, I mean, for me, Star Wars was all about spaceships. I don't want to see, tree trunks.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I was never really into that, and I always felt that it never quite looked finished. Obviously, when it was repurposed as the Sherwood Forest, they added tree canopies on, but I always felt that one always looked a little bit unfinished.
That one's a better one than that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, a lot of Star Wars
missing a
fans
roof.
actually go for that one.
Yeah. And I think as well, possibly the fact that I really didn't care for the Ewoks to begin with. I wouldn't really want a play set based around them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jason, so you have this.
Yeah, I've got the Robin Hood one, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
missing leaves, so literally it does look like that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it was the same mold and everything. So
Mhm. Different colour.
pretty much either in the 80s or today, that's not really something anyone would be selecting. So next up, we have the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Now, this is something I wanted as a kid, but never quite managed to get one. Anyone here have a Spectrum?
Yeah, I've still got one.
one.
I've got a 48K one because
Ah.
I think that one on the screen is the rubber keyed version, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's ZX.
I had the one after, and I loved it. It was fantastic. I couldn't get
Yeah.
enough.
I had the one that you had the cassette case already in with it, built in.
Oh, was that the one? Is that the 128?
I think so, yeah, I'm not too sure.
The Plus, was it
Yeah.
the Spectrum Plus? I think had the key. It was like a hard key, wasn't it? And then the cassette player was built into the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I think
it's
it's
got
a
a
show of
built-in.
age, isn't it? And when you got it, whether you had the rubber key. I remember pleading with my parents who bought me at great expense a BBC Micro because that's what was used at school. I think some quite clever marketing by the BBC there, or Acorn. And of course, everyone had the Spectrum because it had all the games. And I remember pleading with them one Christmas, and then I got the 16K, which was useless because nothing worked on that. And then I think I had to wait till the following Christmas to get the 32K RAM pack so I could actually play anything. So yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Not a stuttering start to my Spectrum career, though.
Yeah.
well, they did several versions, didn't they? Because they did the rubber key version that we can see on the screen, and then they did the 48K where you had to plug in an external tape player, and then I think they did the 128, which was like a grey plastic that had the built-in tape player.
That's it.
Yeah, my
But the
mate
rubber
had
key was in
one
a
with,
16 and a 48.
Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Right. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, my mate did actually have the Spectrum one, the one where you had the keyboard where you attached it to the Spectrum. We had many hours we were down there playing with it.
Right. So I have a question. As a kid who never had a home computer, was it really as simple as having a twin deck tape recorder and just copying that tape, and that could copy the game and give that to your friend?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Really?
But
Ah.
the trick was that when you had like a C90 cassette full of games, you had to have someone organized enough to tell you with a little counter on the cassette player what point each game started. Otherwise, it was complete and utter guesswork when the game started and loading from. So, you knew you were getting games from an organized pirater when they came with a little three-digit number to know when to start that game. Otherwise, pretty difficult.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it was really open to abuse, wasn't it? Because I mean, I didn't do this myself, but mainly because I don't think I actually thought of it. But I knew people that would buy a game for like $1.99 or whatever, take it home, copy it, and take it back to the shop, say it didn't work, and exchange it for another one, and do that ad infinitum.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, you'd have thought the shops would have got wise to that. They did. I remember there was a game, a helicopter game. I can't remember what it was called, but you had in the cassette box came like a perspex, like a little panel, and you had to line it up on the screen and then put in the code. It sort of gave you a code according to how it lined up with an image on the screen. So that was an early sort of protection for that. That it only worked. I didn't ever see it on any other game, but it certainly was on. Yeah, it was a sort of helicopter simulator thing that they did that as a bit of piracy protection.
Yeah, I mean, just to go off on a slight tangent here with regards to twin deck tape recorders, it would have been circa 88, 89 that my mum got herself a new radio for the kitchen that just happened to be a twin deck tape recorder also. But interestingly enough, it was 2 cassette decks, but they were back to back. So when you hit eject, it was this huge tray that came.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
As opposed to the sort of side-by-side thing. And
that's cool.
And then it occurred to me one time that I could record guitar onto a blank tape, play that back onto another blank tape with a microphone plugged in, and then hammer on some cushions with drumsticks to make a drum sound. That's how I made my first ever bit of music. It was a twin deck tape recorder. And honestly, when I did it the first time, I felt like such a king. I thought, oh my God, I've made music for the first time in my life, courtesy of this twin deck tape recorder. Yeah, it was happy times.
You're speaking of the double depth tape deck.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I've got a variant of the Transformers Soundwave where his chest is double the depth, and you can fit 2 cassettes into him.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Exactly the same concept. Right. So that was the spectrum. From Palitoy, we have the 12-inch Darth Vader, the laser rifle, which obviously made that very annoying sound. And with it being from Palitoy, this was a non-sound making X-Wing. So do any of these things appeal to you all?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Well, would have been. But I think I might have got bored up with the rifle.
Well, I don't know, because one of my favorite gifts at Christmas ever was the Han Solo, what they called laser pistol. And despite the annoying sound, that was the first time I could really kind of act out Star Wars. Because up until that point, I was playing with little tiny figures, but for the first time in my whole life, I had a full-sized blaster to run about the house. And so, yeah. And
so that one on the screen there, is that the Stormtrooper one, the E11?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah.
And it's interesting. It shows like a extender.
Yeah.
Where most of the times, I mean, I've got a Stormtrooper laser, and you don't come with one of them. I'll tell you something, that one looks good. I wouldn't mind having that right now.
Yeah. Now, I've got to be honest. I have absolutely no memory whatsoever of ever seeing the 12-inch figures in shops when I was young.
No, I'm the same. And I don't think I would have had any interest either, because it was all about the ones you collected, wasn't it? And they just didn't fit. It's like you were saying last week about mixing figures, playing with Action Force next to Star Wars, which, for the record, I would never have done myself either. But a 12-inch next to the sort of 3 3/4, it just a bit ridiculous. It wasn't Land of the
Yeah.
Giants, was it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's that. And I believe these are Centurions.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
are.
I don't remember them at all.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I have never seen these, and I've seen them
No.
on channels on YouTube. I have no memory whatsoever of these.
No, me neither. Back in the day, no,
Yeah.
never seen them before.
Yeah.
No, I like them. I didn't have
Strange.
any, but I like them.
No.
You've got Ace McLeod in the middle there in the blue. You've got, I think, Max Ray is one of them, but I can't remember which one. I think Max Ray is the green guy.
Yeah.
Not sure. And then I've forgotten the name of the other
Yeah.
guy. No, they were good, and the cartoon was good as well.
Now, any idea what year these things came out?
No idea.
Mm.
I
mean,
would say 86, 87 maybe.
I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming it would have been after '86 because '86 was my kind of cutoff for toys, and I have never seen these before. So
Yeah, they're
made
probably
them?
around that time.
Were they,
Patel, I think, if I remember
were they?
rightly. I've seen Luke, because Luke's a big debt to them. And I've got a feeling Patel, but I'm probably totally wrong, and it's probably Kenner.
now,
I think they borrowed a lot of ideas from Action Man, because you would buy the main
Mhm.
figures and they would come with the
Mhm.
accessories, but then you could buy different packs to transform them into different, to have different weaponry and different accessories and stuff. So there were the three
Yeah.
main figures, and then all the other stuff was like supplementary stuff you could plug into them.
now,
I think
Are
I'm
these-
the same as you, Dean. 86
Yeah.
for me is like a cut off. I was
yeah,
just 13 then. So for me, I was interested in pursuing other interests. Possibly
Yeah.
not action figures, maybe some other figures, but not action ones.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because
Boba
for me,
Fan said 86.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
for me, I think '86. I began high school in August of that year, and I was still collecting masks, but very discreetly. I did not tell anyone in my class in high school I was still buying mask toys. But Christmas '86, there were no toys. Actually, I tell a lie. There was one. I got Screwball Scramble. That was my last ever toy. So '86 for me, so anything at post '86, I probably have no knowledge about, and I certainly have never seen these figures before. So,
No.
so next up from I guess Milton Bradley is the Starbird. Now I remember seeing this in catalogs, but it was something I never had. But by all accounts, the sort of space station type thing is made of cardboard.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
So, but now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the sort of selling point of the Starbird that it had some sort of sensing function that if you pushed it up the way, it would make a certain sound? If you put it down the way, it would make a different sound? Or am I getting confused here?
Don't know.
I don't remember that.
I
I don't remember it.
I had one
Yeah.
literally about 5 or 6 years ago. But I don't think I ever batteries in it to see what he did.
Yeah.
Was it plastic or metal, this ship?
Plastic.
Plastic,
Was it?
yeah.
I don't remember I remember the ship, the shape of it, but I don't remember
Yeah.
the sort of 3D jigsaw puzzle, which is the sort of docking station
That's
there.
that's a command center.
Bit low rent, that, isn't it? And all in cardboard.
Yeah.
But that's Britain for you, isn't it? I mean, you think that's how some of the Star Wars stuff came, like.
Well, that is true, and look what they're worth now. So
Yeah.
that rubbishes my argument a bit.
Yeah. But I think something like Starbird was not associated with a movie franchise, so it didn't quite get the same sort of fanfare that Star Wars toys would, or Transformers, etc., would get. I think it looks pretty cool, but it was never on my radar back then, and it certainly isn't now. So moving on, from Palitoy, we have the stock car Smash. I think that says Smash'ems or something. Let me just make this full so I can read
Smash
this.
Up. Does it say?
Smash ups. Yes.
Yeah.
That along with another toy I remember, which I think was some sort of demolition derby type thing. It was like a couple of yellow Volkswagen Beetles
That's right.
that you could smash into each other. That was always something I quite fancied.
Yeah.
Never had that. I'll get to Evel Knievel shortly, but the Matchbox Streak Racing. Now, wasn't the glow in the
I
dark
had that.
version?
No,
did
I
they
had
glow in the
that. It was
dark?
no, it was just a Hot Wheels sort of. It was Matchbox's equivalent of the Hot Wheels track, but it
Yeah.
was better made. It was thicker, the plastic, so you could start. It didn't sort of flex around too much. You could set up quite a good height, sort of pin it up to the bookcase type of thing, and then it was pretty good. That actually, I remember that with some fond memories.
You know what? I should apologize. I didn't see. We have two distinguished guests in the wings here. I just saw the chat there. I do apologize, fellas. I will bring you on right now. Tree, hang on. Let me just take this slide off so we can take a look at our guests. Tree, I apologize. I was not ignoring you, sir. Can you hear us?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Again, apologies there. I was looking at the toys. I did not see you. I also did not see Seth down there.
Hello there.
Ed, Dave, Dean.
hey,
Thank you for coming again, sir. Very kind of you. And also, just so everyone knows, I think it's 7:30 in the morning for you, Tree.
About that, yeah.
wow.
Well, thank you for doing this. Again, deepest apologies.
Oh, no problem.
When the screen is this full, it's hard to see everything. So, do you want to have any comments on the toys we discussed before you came on, or do you want me just to continue with where we were?
No, just continue. For me, it's okay.
Right. Tree, do you have any thoughts on what you've seen thus far?
No, let's continue.
Okay. So Streak Racing, as Ed was telling us, was just a better version of Hot Wheels, basically. Now, I was getting confused because wasn't there a glow-in-the-dark version? There was that Hot Wheels or Matchbox?
I do remember colorizing Matchbox cars. If you put them into warm water, they change colors.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. I have a couple of those. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, but within this box here, we have what I consider to be one of, if not the greatest toys ever, which is the ideal Evel Knievel stunt cycle. And this was one of the few toys that actually delivered on their promise, where it pretty much did what they said it would do. And that is something that doesn't really happen a lot, because there were many times as a kid, you would see these TV commercials and kids doing all manner of things with these toys. And once you bought that toy, it simply would not do what they showed it doing. But this was the one toy I had that really did deliver. So did anyone else have this as a child?
I always wanted it and never had it. My friend had it, and I remember winding it up with a fury. It went down the drive, straight out into the road and under a car. That was a slightly sad ending to that. But I might have said this before, I think, but there's an Instagram channel. There's a guy with one of these who sets up the most amazing. He'll set up a track going out of a bedroom, a second-story window, down through the garden, through a flaming hoop. He does it all in slow motion. He's got better over the years with multiple camera angles. Absolutely incredible. But you're right, Dean. It was one of those things that it did actually do what it promised. And I always wanted one, but never had one. Has it ever been redone? It's
yes,
not.
It has.
Yes.
Has it? Oh, okay. Was it as good though?
No.
Because there were different versions, weren't there? But that original one.
Yeah. I think there was one as well that I always fancied that had those sort of basically glorified cigarette lighter sort of flint sparking mechanisms in these tubes.
Oh, wow.
That looked pretty amazing. And I think they had things like camper vans and all kinds of accessories for Evel Knievel.
Yeah, I believe there was.
Yeah, so definitely one, as I said, if not the best, it's definitely one of the best toys in my opinion. And last of all, something again I always wanted, which was Tin Can Alley.
Same.
Yep.
Yes. Always wanted it, never had it. Another one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How did that work? Or was it an electronic system to blow
It was
away
light. Was it light sensors on it?
Yeah. From the light sensor. But what I always found intriguing was in the early 80s, this was being advertised, and the cans that you would shoot were Dr. Pepper cans. And I don't ever recall having Dr. Pepper in the 80s.
Not in the UK.
In the UK, I should stress, yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't remember it.
Yeah. But Tree, was this a toy that you were aware of when you were younger?
Oh, absolutely. I was a Pepper.
Yeah.
We remember this toy.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But did you ever actually play with it?
Some friends of mine had it.
Uh-huh.
And everybody wanted that on our block.
Yeah, but did it actually work as intended?
I think you hit it on the head with the Evel Knievel. That one was delivered as promised, and it was indestructible.
Wow.
The old Fisher Price toys, the Evel.
Right. So I'll quickly go around the circle here. As I said, you can pick one thing. So Monkey Boy, from this little selection, which one would you have chosen?
Well, I think, obviously I've still got a Spectrum, so I wouldn't have picked that because I had one anyway. I reckon probably the Centurions.
Yeah.
Can I have all of them?
Yes. Yeah.
Me, I'll have all of them then, please.
For the
Especially
price
now.
of one. Yeah.
They command quite a decent price now if they're in good
really?
condition and they're complete. They're worth quite a bit. So I think I'll go for those, please.
Yeah. Jason, what would be your pick?
I already know. There's one thing it's one of the things I didn't get as a kid. I always wanted, and it's got to be Tin Can Alley.
Yeah, I think so.
I probably
Ed,
got bored after 10 minutes of it not working.
Yeah. Ed, what's your pick?
For the stunt cycle, definitely. Although I always wanted Tin Can Alley, I've subsequently played it and found it doesn't quite deliver on the advert's claims. I think they had some sticks of dynamite hidden in it because it sort of exploded on the advert.
Yeah.
And the tins went everywhere, but it didn't seem to be the same experience. So the stunt cycle, I think, for me.
Right. And a Tree, if you could have one item here, what would that one item be?
Well, I'd have to agree with Ed, but I had that, so I would have probably picked the Ewok Village with the elevator mechanism. Kind of reminds me of my favorite toy, the Guns of Navarone.
Nice. And Seth, for you, sir, what would you pick from this list?
I would also have chosen the Ewok Village, just because I didn't had that in the 80s.
Right.
Something I heard about existing, but never saw till much later. I think an interesting trivia about this Ewok Village that it later appeared in a series of toys of Peter Pan, I think.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, yeah.
Robin Hood, yeah. Yeah, and also didn't they repurpose the Gamorrean guard to be Friar Tuck?
I've got him.
Yeah.
Good head sculpt, I think, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a good little segment there. So let me just catch up with the chat. And
hello.
Hang on.
Hello.
You've gone early.
Hang on. Whoa.
Yes, please.
How did that happen?
I'll have one of each.
How did that happen?
That's coming up later. Let me just where we got to. I think it was Oh, we're quite far back here. I do apologize for this. We got here we are. So Martin is saying hi to everyone, and Seth,
Hello,
who is
man.
now here, says hi. Des says hi. Ben, I think we've actually read these, but we'll just go over it quickly. Tree, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Tree. Boba Fan, that's where we were. Happy Christmas also. Des says, never had the ebook village as a kid, but really glad I picked one up, albeit missing a few pieces from Echo Live this year. Hopefully you didn't pay too much.
What bit you
Ben,
got missing, Des?
yeah. Ben says, I still have my original ebook village, but flying speeder bikes between the legs of the dining table was as much fun. Yes, it was. Martin says, Jet Set Willie had a code card you could use after the tape had loaded. Not sure how the pirates got around that one. Don't know. Tom says, gotta go, seeing family. Well, thank you, Tom, if you're still here. Merry Christmas to you.
See you, Tom.
Ben says, have a good Christmas to Tom. Boba Fan says, so Chudians was 86, so probably right on my cutoff for toys. So that's how I don't really remember it at all. Obi-Wan Kenobi figures came out in 86 and they were by Kenner. Okay. Ben says hi to everyone. And Tree just reminded me, luckily I saw that, because if I can just explain quickly, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 9 sort of boxes along the bottom of the screen.
Wow.
And you two came in just underneath, and it was just out of my vision. So again, I apologize for making you wait so long. Stephen says the Starboard was a great toy, and yes, it would make a different sound depending on whether or not you were climbing or descending. So that was probably pretty advanced technology for a toy in the 80s. Yeah. And Ryan is here saying, woke up a bit late, now I'm caught up. Merry Christmas from the West Coast. Well, Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you, Ryan. So I've already blown my cover, so I may as well run my little intro to this. Now, I'll run the intro and I'll explain why I kind of toned it down a bit, but here we go. So let's pull a Christmas cracker. Now, I'm going to make a fool of myself here, but back, I think it was the 90s, I happened to be in possession of a gentleman's magazine that came out in December of that particular year. And I don't know if anyone here ever read gentleman's magazines, but they always had some fantastic sort of pun headlines. And there was
many magazines in the parks.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think the best ones were found in the woods, but
you got it.
Yeah, there was one Christmas edition, and the headline above a picture of a lady dressed up with very sexy Santa costume said, "Pull one off over this Christmas cracker." And it always stuck with me, so I tamed it down and I said, "Pull a Christmas cracker." Now, I will give you a selection of 1980s ladies, and you may pick one to invite to your Christmas party. So, believe it or not, there are not a lot of images online when you search. Well, perhaps I kept it a clean search, I don't know. But so we have a selection of ladies from the 80s, and you can have one attend your Christmas party. Now, Tree, I apologize, and also Seth, a lot of these were from the UK, so you may not be familiar with them. The other ones, I'm sure, were more familiar. So we have Samantha Fox in the top left. We have Elvira. We have Linda Lusardi. We have the ladies from ABBA, and we have Kylie Minogue. So if I go around the circle, starting with Monkey Boy, which one of these ladies would you invite to your Christmas party?
Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I was a big fan of Kylie when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I think now if I could reach back in time and grab one of these girls from back in the 80s, I think possibly Linda Lusardi. But I do quite like the appearance and the kind of tone of Elvira. I always thought she was quite a nice character. I thought she was pretty cool. So yeah, it is a difficult one, really. Yeah, I think I'll go with Elvira, please.
And I should add as well that the ladies from ABBA come as a pair, and again.
Oh well, you didn't say that.
No, but again, again, going back to the sort of pun headlines of these 90s gentlemen's magazines, there was one where there were two ladies on the cover, and the headline was "Two for the Spice of One."
The downside, the upside to the two ladies from ABBA is that you get two of them. The downside is that they've got two chaperones with them. So, you know.
Well, yeah.
The bearded chaperones maybe ruins the possibilities.
Right. Yeah. So, Monkey Boy, do you change your choice or do you stick with Linda?
I think I'll stick with Elvira. I mean, I did like Linda Lusardi.
Right. Yeah.
Samantha Fox never. I liked. She was fine, but especially now, it never really sat very well with me that the Sun managed to grab her on her 16th birthday.
Well, also
that always seemed a little bit suspicious.
Yeah, I also believe they ran a countdown to her 16th birthday. Yeah, saying only 5 more days until Sam shows all, type thing. And at the time, because I was younger, I didn't see an issue with that. But now that I'm an old man, that is absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jason, which one of these ladies are coming to your Christmas party?
Well, again, I quite like Kylie.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much enjoyment she would be at a pie. I don't know. Yeah. I think I've got to go for the British Flash. And because I do remember her being around in the 80s and hearing lots of things and seeing it in the Sun. Got to be Samantha Fox.
Samantha Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ed, what about you?
Well, I think back in the day, Sam Fox would have won it hands down. But then the revelation that she drank from the furry cup rather than the cup was possibly.
Oh, really?
Meaning I would have probably, on reflection, gone for Linda Lusardi. Yeah. Kylie was a bit too wholesome, and I think ABBA, they just seemed a bit too old for me. Perhaps that's they were a bit MILFs weren't a thing back then, were they?
No,
I suppose.
no.
I think they would have been a bit motherly, perhaps. Kylie a bit too wholesome. Elvira a bit too scary. So it would have been one of the two Sun girls, I think.
Yeah. Now, in terms of ABBA, was it always kind of accepted that the dark-haired one was the sexier of the two?
I think the blonde was considered a little more attractive. Yeah,
attractive. But I think the way the dark-haired one kind of sang to the camera was a bit more suggestive. I think the blonde appeared more innocent, perhaps. Yeah. So, Tree, and again, I apologize that you probably have never seen Samantha Fox or Linda Lusardi before, but putting you on the spot, if one were to come to your Christmas party, which one would it be?
Actually, I had heard of Samantha Fox. She was pretty popular in the 80s.
Yeah, because she had a few hit singles, actually. Her voice was half decent.
On a game on the Spectrum, there was Sam Fox's Strip Poker on the Spectrum.
Yeah.
That was an actual game.
Yeah.
So at first glance, I leaned towards ABBA because of my Swedish background.
Right, of course.
And we probably have a lot of cool things to talk about. Making glögg. It's like cess glue Glühwein and
Right.
all kinds of traditions, singing and so forth. But I'd probably pick Elvira after she spent some time with Dave, because
you wouldn't want her after that.
Because she, as I understood it, she owned a 59 Thunderbird, and I had a 58 Thunderbird that I restored. So I think we'd have some interesting stories to talk about.
Yeah. So, Seth, which one of these ladies are coming to your Christmas party?
Elvira, definitely.
Oh, Elvira. Oh, straight there.
Yes. Everybody's welcome, of course, but Elvira is more welcome.
She's going to be knackered.
Yeah. No.
So much to do in so little time.
Yeah. Now, as I look at all these ladies here, now obviously Kylie looks very attractive, but I have this image in my head where I first saw her on Neighbours, and she was this kind of like tomboy character who was a mechanic. And it's hard for me to sort of disassociate that with Kylie Minogue, and I've never really found her to be particularly attractive. As was said earlier, the ABBA ladies were very much in their prime in their 70s, not their 70s, but their 70s.
They're in their 70s now.
Yeah, and with Elvira, aside from the obvious sizable assets, she was kind of quite scary to me when I was young. So it's probably one of the two British ladies, and I think I'm going to go with Samantha Fox, because I do remember a very vivid memory. I think I was in primary 6 at the time, and one lad in my class managed to get a copy of the previous day's Sun newspaper and brought that into school, and we had a good look at page 3, and that was quite eye-opening, shall we say. Yes. So I think we had a good mixture of choices there. So hopefully that's not going to get me labeled as some sort of sexist, but it was just a bit of Christmas fun. So there we go. Yeah. Hopefully people weren't too offended by that. So on with the chat. We have Tree, thank you. Let me just bring this up. Very kind of you, Tree. Thank you so much. And you wanted number 4. So if I go to number 4, which I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, was this Star Wars Not Welcome at Christmas? Yes, okay. Let's do this one. And these were all done this week, I should add. So here we go. Star Wars Not Welcome at Christmas.
My family told me I'm not welcome at Christmas because I'm obsessed with Star Wars and never shut up about it. Everyone should talk about Star Wars. It's the greatest thing ever.
Good Lord. Yes. Yes. It's the greatest thing ever. Yeah. Now, does that ever become a problem in your households where there's one person, not just Star Wars, but they are obsessed with one thing and just never shut up about it? Or is that just a myth?
I'm lucky to be saved from that.
Yeah.
I'm with Steph on that.
Yeah, I think I do get obsessed with things at certain times. I try to be aware of my surroundings and not bore people who are not into that kind of thing on that particular subject. I'm sure there are people out there who just never shut up about Star Wars, and it can't be nice for the people around them.
No,
but
if we talk about Star Wars with the family, it's usually something we often do. It's a habit. Everyone likes it.
Yeah. But once again, thank you so much, Tree. It's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Ryan says, nice one. Yes, nice one indeed. Nice one from Ben. Thank you. Oh, Ryan is here, says, Elvira for the win. Video number 5, please. Well, thank you, Ryan. Very, very kind of you. So let me give you number 5. which would be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Empire Strikes Back every day. And this kind of gets on to one of our later subjects, but here we go.
Back in 1988, ITV broadcast The Empire Strikes Back on Christmas Day. I taped it on VHS and watched it every single day for the next 12 months.
Yes. Oh boy. Well, thank you, Ryan. That was very kind of you. And Ben is saying, nice one. And Tree also says, cool. Thank you, Ryan. Very kind. So that kind of goes on to this segment. And I'm going to run the video so I can take a quick moment to take a drink. And we'll come back and we will discuss the movies that were broadcast on British television from 85 to 89, because we did the previous half of the decade before, but this was BBC versus... So in the last installment of these parties, we looked at the movies that were broadcast on British television on Christmas Day, which was, I think, 1980 to 84. So we'll now conclude the decade. And surprisingly, BBC did up their game. So in 1985, the BBC gave us The Gnome-Mobile from 67. I don't know that at all. Next film was The Absence of Malice. Anyone recognize that?
No.
86, The Pure Hell of St. Trinians. Now, I do remember the St. Trinians movies.
Mm.
Now, wasn't that like an all-girls school?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So was it kind of in the same sort of area as the Carry On films? Sort of like comedy, like slightly...
A little bit, but also a little bit saucy-ish, if you know what I mean. You know,
that's the word.
Yeah,
So
showing
Hill
a bit
sort
of
of,
stockings and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And then at 3:10, they gave us Annie the Musical. Now, that would be the one with the red-haired, curly-haired girl, right? Yeah. Not a fan of that. And then at 10:40, they gave us Educating Rita from 83. So, as you can see here, the BBC were always a few years behind in terms of them putting out their movies. So 87 is where it gets interesting. At 3:40 p.m., they gave us Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Excellent.
And I would suspect this may have been the first time people in the UK got to see it, because I don't ever remember seeing it advertised at the movies.
Yeah,
I was
it's the
probably
first time
too
I
young.
saw it.
Yeah.
You probably either you saw it in the cinema, or if you was one of these rich or families that could rent a video player,
Right. Yeah.
you watched it on video.
Yeah. Then at 10:45, they gave us Terms of Endearment from 1983. Anyone seen that?
Don't think so.
No. 1988, 3:10, Back to the Future.
Nice.
Decent. Yeah.
Yeah. And at 9:20, Silverado. Then in 1989, at 6:15, they gave us Crocodile Dundee.
Excellent.
Which I do remember seeing. And then at midnight, they gave us Key Largo. Now, in the first half of the decade, the BBC had no sort of up-to-date movies as such. And they have really gone to town here with Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and Crocodile Dundee. Now, do you think they saw what ITV were doing and realized they really had to sort of step up to the plate here, because ITV were kicking ass with their movies?
They probably
They
had.
were certainly doing better than BBC were in the first half of the decade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those three those 3 Christmas Day movies. Yeah.
But then it also show you between BBC One and ITV, where literally it was like a couple of films on a day, where ITV always had more than 1 or 2 films a day. You literally stay on that channel nearly the whole day. You could.
Yeah.
But if you also look at the scheduling, they were quite respectful of each other's timings early on, and then in '88 it was a real head-to-head look. You had Back to the Future 3:10, and then did you stay with that, or did you switch over to Empire Strikes Back? So they were really up. It was all about the numbers, wasn't it? I suppose back then.
So let me just run through ITV real quick. So in '85, 11:15 they had The Black Hole, and at 3:05 was the Bond film Moonraker, and then at 10:50 they had Gregory's Girl, which I think was a Scottish movie.
I think it was.
6:30 on 1986. Never Say Never Again. Now, is that when Sean Connery came back for the role?
Yeah.
Now, hang on.
That was after he said he wasn't going to do any more, and then he came back and did that one.
Yeah. And then
hadn't there been a Roger Moore one in the meantime, though?
No,
possibly because somebody else.
No, but wasn't there a Bond movie with Sean Connery that's not actually part of the Bond movie continuum? This one. Yeah.
Isn't it a different studio or something like that? Because when you used to buy the box set, which let's be honest, I did in the VHS and Blu-ray, and I think there was one that was excluded because it didn't have the same rights, and it wasn't in that box, and I'm sure it was Never Say Never Again.
That's the one.
Yeah,
right. So then,
I'm not sure if it was a Broccoli production. Was it? It was something else.
Yeah, something like that, wasn't it, Monkey Boy? Yeah, there was something different about it.
Yeah.
So then, at 10:10, they gave us Agatha Christie's Dead Man's Folly from '86. So that was probably made for TV then. At '87, at 12:40 p.m., it was the Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. Then they had Disney at Christmas, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And then at 12:15 in the morning, it was Airplane 2, the sequel. Now, what I find interesting is because, we have one bona fide American, one pseudo-American, and 3 Brits and 1 Belgian. Airplane. Now, did we not learn in school it was aeroplane?
Yeah.
Aeroplane too, but airplane. But obviously, ITV just took it straight from the studio and said, this is Airplane 2. So 1988, 10:05 in the morning, The Little Troll Princess from '87. So that was not a big budget movie, I'm guessing. 3:55 p.m., 1988, The Empire Strikes Back. And it only took 8 years to get onto broadcast TV. And I think I've said this before in the past. This was the first time I saw The Empire Strikes Back. So my sequence was I saw Star Wars, I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, and then I saw Empire Strikes Back.
That's bizarre. I've got a memory of seeing Empire before then, but I don't know where it would have been because I didn't see it at the cinema.
No.
And if you're right in saying this was the first terrestrial broadcast of it, but that seems very late to me. I'm sure I saw it on
video.
No, I didn't. No, it must have been then that I saw it first, but I just seem to think I was a lot younger when I first saw that, but perhaps not.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a huge event on Christmas Day.
I remember when it was getting played because I was getting bored. Because every year, once they released Star Wars, they showed it every year afterwards, and I was like, when are you going to stop showing Star Wars and put the next one on?
Yeah. I mean, based on this time frame, when did they broadcast Return of the Jedi? Like
the year after. I just looked it up, and it was the following year.
Right.
That's crazy because I saw.
But it was on the Boxing Day. Yeah, 26th, 12/89. Return of the Jedi first show.
Jedi. Oh, that's crazy because I saw Jedi at the cinema when it came out. So I saw them completely out of order because I must not have seen Empire until after then.
That's the same as me. Yeah. Although I almost saw Empire Strikes Back before 83 because my mom went to the video store and rented a tape for me to watch. And it said Empire Strikes Back on the cover, etc. But what it was Mark Hamill doing a documentary on industrial light and magic, showing how they made certain scenes in Empire Strikes Back. So I had a clue as to what happened in Empire Strikes Back, but I did not see it until 1988. Yeah, so after Empire Strikes Back, now we can see here that ITV had done away with the cutoff because they were showing a film at 1:20 a.m., Our Man Flint, and then at 3:15 a.m. In Like Flynn. So 89, they gave us at 12:25, the James Bond film was On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So they were jumping around all the years of Bond films because, the previous year, actually, there was no Bond film in 88 because I guess Star Wars was the big attraction. But 87 was a 1977 movie. 86 was an 83 movie. 85 was 79. But for 1989, they went back to 1969. Then we had the BFG, which I think was the Big Friendly Giant. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then at 9 p.m., Down and Out in Beverly Hills from 86. And then at 11:10 p.m., Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I'm assuming on other days within the festive period, they may have shown the other movies. But to go, given that BBC gave us Temple of Doom in 84 and 87, we now have ITV giving us Raiders in 81, or sorry, 89. Film was 81. 1:20 a.m. all night long from 81, and at 3 a.m. Hard Country. So, based on those listings, who do you think won Christmas that year?
BBC.
BBC.
Would it have been the case that did you say that Sky? I can't remember. You discussed this the other week, didn't you? When Sky TV launched, and when they launched, their big thing was movies. It wasn't so much sports like it is probably now. So they probably had some competition, didn't they? The terrestrial TV to sort of up their game and try and maintain their audience. So I suppose they probably had to dig a bit deeper on the Christmas period movies.
Yeah. Now, here's the question for you all. Now, Tree, I'm sure you know this already. I'll just repeat it anyway. BBC showed programming with no commercial breaks. ITV had commercial breaks. Now, would that impact your choice of watching a channel or not?
Well, absolutely. I can't stand commercials.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to have access to Laserdisc at the time.
Wow.
We could check them out because my dad worked for a company called Pioneer. So we actually skipped TV altogether and watched movies like Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So a Monkey Boy, based on what you just saw, do you think BBC kind of won the latter half of the 80s?
I think just about. I mean, they had three fairly big hitters. So I think just about. But I mean, ITV weren't far behind. I mean, obviously Empire, and the Bond films were always a Christmas favourite. So it was a lot closer. I wouldn't have liked the choice of having to decide between Back to the Future and Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Yeah. Now, what I can confirm is that my father taped Empire Strikes Back, and I watched that, and it must have been sometime in January because I was definitely back at school at the time. I have no memory whatsoever if I watched Back to the Future or not. I simply don't recall.
I don't think my family got a video recorder until I think late 88, possibly early 89, and weirdly, the first film that that my parents rented for us to watch was Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. So Jason, on those showings, did you prefer BBC or ITV?
ITV.
ITV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Seth?
BBC. Back to
BBC.
the Future. But as Monkey Boy said, it's a hard choice between Back to the Future and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. And yeah. Tree, based on what you just saw, which channel do you think had the better movies on those particular Christmas days?
Oh, probably BBC.
Yeah, I think so. Ed, what's your take?
Yeah, I'd definitely go BBC. I think watching with the adverts was just terrible. It would have been like being in bed with the pair from ABBA and Benny and the other one just knocking on the door, disturbing you every 5 minutes. It's not. No, it was not a way to what you couldn't concentrate on it, could you?
No.
And they used to stop them at the most inopportune moments. I don't think there was much editing thought to it.
Yeah.
That was time to go and make a cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could run to the bathroom and now, does anyone remember there was that telltale sign that a break was coming where in the upper corner
the little stripes
thing in
little stripes flash. And
like in a wheel going around.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, well, I don't know how interesting it is, but because of James Bond and commercial breaks, that's why I drink black coffee. Because I was watching a James Bond film, can't remember what one it was, and he ordered a black coffee, and I'd never had a black coffee before. And then the commercial break came on. I thought, I'm going to have one of those. So I went and made a black coffee, and I've never gone back since.
Shaken, not stirred. Yeah.
Am I misremembering this, or did when VCRs came out, if you wanted to record something, you had to be watching that channel? You couldn't record one and watch another.
I know it had a tuner in the VCR. The tuner.
No,
there was I think the tuner, the VCR had a separate tuner to the TV, so you could be watching something on the TV, and the VCR had a separate tuner that was taking the feed of whatever channel it was set to record.
We had a video player from probably 77, 76. I remember.
Oh, wow, that's early.
Yeah, my old man, he was always bringing technology early. He was one of these guys that liked to show off. That's why I always managed to watch something else on another channel and then record it.
Was it one of those top loaders? You would press eject and then you'd wait about 25 minutes and suddenly it would go bang.
Yeah. And later on, I learned the trick where you joined out another video player and put the wires behind, and then you could copy films from one player to the next.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, I just remembered it would have been late 80s. My parents got a video or VHS player that had the most bizarre feature, which was picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
But you could only do picture-in-picture if you were playing a tape. So you couldn't watch BBC and ITV, but you could watch your video VHS tape with the television in a small corner.
Yeah.
It was completely pointless.
And could you record that image then? With a picture-in-picture?
Yeah, I mean, it must have been, but it served no purpose.
Well, that was a weird feature, wasn't
like,
it? It was.
Sorry, go on, Ed.
Sorry, go on. No, I was just going to say, one of those classic sort of TV manufacturer features marketed the hell out of, and you're like, got to have that feature. And I remember having it and thinking, what the hell? I've got this main picture, and it was sort of marketed that like Aunt Mabel could watch the Queen's speech while you were watching Moonraker, and like no one had wireless headphones or anything like that. So how on earth did it work? It was sort of, it beyond me why that was a feature that was worth having, but I had to have it at the time. I remember.
Yeah.
Did you get both audio feeds at the same time, or was it just the audio for the main one?
Yeah, the main one was the audio feed. Yeah. But I think you could later do it. I remember I had funny enough, it was a Pioneer TV, and you could do a picture-in-picture where it came from two different sources, and you could be connected with headphones. So you could say have the tuner on the TV playing the main thing, and someone could be in the smaller picture with the feed coming from, say, a DVD player with the headphones connected to that, and then they could. But again, it was a useless. Just get another TV and watch it in the other room. Basically, it was just not a feature that was had much value to me.
Yeah, and I also remember that same VCR had the ability to pause the image while the audio still played. Again, why?
That's interesting.
Yeah. That sounds almost like a digital device or something, a memory or a way to. What I do remember with VCRs and video recorders that they were rather complex to operate. The interface with the buttons and the programming of recording. It was a thing, and it was so different between every model. It was my impression as a child, but if you had a new VCR, you had to study almost to operate.
Although I think because you could time the recording, so therefore, I don't know if anyone else watched this, but in the UK, they had the one and only rock metal show on, I think it was ITV. They went out about 4 a.m. in the morning on ITV. It was initially called the Power Hour, so they changed it to Raw Power. But in order to watch it, you had to tape it, and you had to then make sure you got everything right, because if you messed up one digit on that programming, you were screwed. I was there.
I had a similar memory with the Headbangers Ball. I don't know if anybody remembers that show.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I think it was late in the evening, around 11 or 12. Usually too late for me to see that, so I had to program VCR to watch it afterwards. You could be too early, or you could be too late to the show.
Sometimes, and you would play back, and it would cut off because you've got the timing wrong. Or if the show was slightly delayed. But that just reminded me of a moment that is kind of Christmas related. So it would have been, I guess, 89. My parents had bought tickets to the pantomime. And in the UK on a Friday, there was the Radio 1 rock show with... I think it was Alan Freeman did the Friday night show, and I always listened to it. But I knew I was going to be away at the pantomime, so I wouldn't be back in time. So what I did was, my hi-fi had mechanical buttons for the tape player. So I tuned the radio to the right station, put in the blank tape, play and record pushed in, and then took the plug of the hi-fi into one of those timer plugs that you had to sort of adjust the sort of notches on it. And put that into the wall so that the power came back on. And because it was a mechanical play and record, it was already engaged. And it actually worked. I could not believe it. I managed to record the radio show whilst away from the house. Yeah.
Impressive.
One of my proudest moments. Anyway, on with the chat real quick. Ben says a nice one to Treat and Cool. Be the Geek Toy Review. BBC continued the big films into the 90s with the world TV premiere of E.T. in 90 and Tim Burton's Batman in 91. So E.T., that took 8 years to get onto TV. Wow.
Wow.
Ben says hi to Bearded Geek Toy Review. Hello to Ben. Return of the Jedi premiered on Boxing Day 89. Quite, and that, now was that an indication of Star Wars sort of waning interest, given the Empire got the Christmas Day treatment, but Jedi was relegated to Boxing Day? Oh, hang on, what's that? That wasn't me, was it?
Monkey Boy's doorbell again?
No.
Yeah. Tim is here. It's good to see you, Tim. He's saying
Tim.
hi to Tree. Ben says hi to Tim. Hi to Ben. Hi to Monkey Boy. And Travels and More. And Dean, last week being Tree's first time on the stream, I meant to ask him if those are toys on display behind him, and if so, which ones? So, Tree, do you want to share with Ben the items behind you?
Oh, these are old. Some of them are new. Some from Stan Solo. There's some Star Wars memorabilia primarily, and
TIE Fighter.
A way of passing on the torch to my two boys. They are into Star Wars now.
Excellent.
So they're able to get some of the things that I grew up with, and then
fantastic.
I'm able to vicariously live through them and their excitement about some of the things that we weren't able to get when we were kids.
Fantastic.
Like some 3D printed things. So.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, I'm assuming that now, Ed, are you a father of children?
Yes. Yeah, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
So do you get that do you get joy through them having joy in new toys?
Yeah. There's definitely there's a weird phenomenon that I've had numerous times where it's sort of like looking at a mirror of myself. My son looks quite like a version of me. So sometimes I look at him and what he's experienced, not just what I'm seeing, but also what I'm observing in behavior and joy in his face, which brings back a nostalgic memory for me. It sounds a bit weird, that, but if you get what I'm saying, it's just sort of like reliving that moment from 40 years ago myself. So definitely that's a case of reliving that and trying to inject that magic, and I suppose also the opportunity of the toys I didn't have but really wanted. As you know, I remember, when he was 1, buying full scale Extrix set, and my wife saying, "Well, it's possibly you've gone a little bit early with the scale Extrix for him. There, maybe that's a bit of your own indulgence." But yeah, for sure, there's a lot in that.
Yeah, and do we have any other fathers on the stream tonight? No. Yes. Well, today I had a kind of a moment. So Mrs. 88's friend came out with her little daughter, and I was playing ball with her outside, and I had sort of flashbacks to when I was 4 years old, and doing that kind of thing. And I felt a bit envious, to be honest, given that this girl has her whole life ahead of her. And I kind of thought, wow, I kind of wished I could switch places with her, because I would love to have that innocence again and the chance to experience life again. But in saying that, she's going to grow up in the sort of 2020s, which are not the same as the late 70s and 80s. So
definitely not.
I have the memories, and that's what's most important. Ryan says, to Tree, I was lucky enough to enjoy many of these films in Laserdisc back in the 80s. My dad was an audiophile and always had the newest stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, Ryan.
Yes. Now, Tree, am I right in saying that your father was very much a part of the Pioneer Corporation?
Yes. Yeah, they kind of went out on a limb with their Laserdisc technology. And and he would bring speakers home and new cassette decks and reel to reel, if you remember, and turntables, and we get to check out equipment much like you would probably check out a library book. And,
fantastic.
So I've kind of incorporated that in what I do now for a living.
Yeah, excellent. Very cool. Ant Teeter says, I remember when where ad breaks came in on movies we taped from TV, the Toys R Us commercial coming on during the first ad break during Big around October 90 to 92-ish was a particular happy memory. Now, also, I will say this, as annoying as those ad breaks were back in the day, there are people who would tape movies on VHS, and they have kept them all these years. And as a result, they are now putting those ad breaks onto YouTube. And I just love watching them.
Sure. Yeah, they're funny. Very creative sometimes.
Yeah, it's such a nice throwback. Ben is saying hi to Ant. Justin is here. Good to see you, Justin. Merry Christmas to you as well. And Biker Scout, Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah.
Tim sees the Bantha.
I saw it.
Yes.
Hey, Dean, may I say something?
Please.
Thank you so much for having me on. We have, and thanks to Ed and Seth and Jason, Dave. Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. We have a family commitment, so I'm going to have to leave, but I really enjoyed it, and thank you so much. Merry Christmas. You guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Tree.
And thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, it's good to see you again.
Brother.
Thank you. Okay, bye for now. Okay. What a wonderful gentleman. Absolutely. Biker Scout, back to Tim. Tim says hi to Biker again. Nice collection tree. Yeah, very nice. It's good. It's good that he's can pass it on to his children. That's a nice way of keeping things alive.
I was curious that blockade runner we had, which one that was. I don't know if you noticed in the background on the left side was a 24 blockade runner.
Yeah, I think he built that himself. Yeah,
it's a print, I think. Yeah.
I remember I had the blockade runner, but the one that played the sounds back in, I think it came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Wish I still had it. I sold it. And I've looked on eBay to buy it back, and I ain't paying them prices.
So Ant is the father to one daughter, but she's heavily indoctrinated into Star Wars and many other 80s toys. Interesting. Justin says, my boys grew up playing with some of my collection, and now as teenagers have their own collections and displays. My youngest even has some vintage and retro collection figures. That's cool. Hi to Biker. Tim is saying hi to everyone. Ryan says, sometimes the ads on old VHS tapes are more interesting than the program that was recorded. Yep, I would agree with that. Or more nostalgic, perhaps. Ben saying Merry Christmas to Tree. Got a 14-year-old boy still put down the snowy footprints made out of flour and glitter leading from the fireplace to the tree. He just rolls his eyes at me now and he says he knows it's me. Yes. So let me just see where we are for segments. So we've done the pick one gift, the best song, movies. Okay.
Song I haven't. Have we done song?
We haven't done song.
We're going to do songs now. Here's a quick intro for you. So I chose at random a few 80s Christmas songs, and which one did you like the most, basically? So the songs we have, where's it gone? Here we go. Here we go. So completely chosen at random, we have Band-Aid, Do they know it's Christmas? Shakin' Stevens, Merry Christmas, everyone. The Power of Love. Nope. The Pogues. Oh my God, I should wear glasses for this. It looks like the Power. Anyway, it's the Pogues. Fairy Tale of New York. Wham! Last Christmas. And we have Bowie and Crosby doing Little Drummer Boy. Now, this one I included for a purpose. This is a case of separating the art from the artist. Gary Glitter doing Another Rock and Roll Christmas. Now, a question for you guys in the UK. Have you been subjected to this latest rendition of Band-Aid? The Band-Aid 40, they're calling it. Oh, it's bloody awful. It really is. It's an absolute sacrilege.
What is it? Really? A remix or something of the?
Well, it's basically they've taken the classic version from '84 and included vocals from a more modern era, and there's even rapping towards the end. And I don't mean Christmas rapping. And
as a charity thing again, or just as a rip-off of the song to make money for the artist?
No, it's for charity still.
Oh, it's still the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still the same charity. I think Geldof's hands are all over this. But this is another. Again, I am the sort of grumpy old man here. What they did in '84 was a one-off, unique experience. Why you have to keep touching it? Now, going back to the original song itself. If we're all absolutely honest, musically and lyrically, it's not a particularly good song, but for the money it raised and the whole spectacle of getting all these big rock pop stars in that one room, it was like a real moment in time. So it's a song I always play at this time of year. It's part of my Christmas playlist. And I include this one and the one which I think was called Band-Aid 2 that features Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, Bros, Wet, Wet, Wet. That one is acceptable. The ones that came after, I have no interest in. So I'll just go through the whole list and then we can discuss them in more detail. Merry Christmas, Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. Now, from what I understand, this was meant to be released for Christmas '84, but he got wind of Band-Aid and put it on the back burner and waited the following year to have more, exposure with that. The Pogues, I got to be honest, it's not a song I really cared for back in the day. And when I hear it now, it's kind of grown on me. But I don't think it's a particularly good song. Wham! Last Christmas, another one I did not like at the time, but now I absolutely love. David Bowie and Bing Crosby, Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy. Again, when that came out, I was not impressed. Now I really enjoy it. And the controversial one with Gary Glitter. Now, this is one where Again, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, the song supersedes the artist singing it because we all know that this guy is absolute stuff. And do you believe that good songs should be completely banned because the person sang it was a bad person, or does that make me a bad person because I still listen to it? Please discuss.
Not at all. Michael Jackson, the same. There are the media.
I was going to say. I mean, I don't think I ever heard a Michael Jackson song I didn't like.
I agree.
And
I think there is one difference here whereby. Am I right in saying that these accusations came out after? Now, was he accused when he was still living, Michael Jackson?
Still living. Some of it was.
Still living. But nothing was ever proven. Is that correct?
No, I think it was always...
He paid down that call. Paid outside, outside.
Yeah.
It was all supposition, wasn't it? Until you know, maybe the lawyers weren't as eagerly paying people off to.
Yeah.
But I think if you enjoy a song, you can appreciate the song. I personally think it's probably right that sort of for public airtime, it doesn't deserve it because of the person that made it. That would be my personal view. But I mean, if you like a song, but just to go back to the Band-Aid thing, and I'll just go on my soapbox for a minute here. Why is it that there is absolutely no innovation? Why can't people come up, whether it's movies, video games, songs, TV? I mean, why have we got so, you know, I mean, how many times have we had remakes of all the amazing, or what seemed at the time amazing TV stuff in the 80s? And it's just rehash after rehash, isn't it? It's like no one's brave enough to bring something new out, and whether it's write some new songs, have some new artists. It's a sort of like a very cheap way of saying, oh, it's a safe bet because it's sort of redoing what worked before. And like you said earlier, Dean, if it worked before, doesn't necessarily mean the recipe is going to be quite as good with different ingredients. So anyway, I'll get off the soapbox there on that one. But the 80s was such an amazing era for innovation. You know, whether it was fashion, music, video game, like I say, you know, just I mean, one of my other passions is video games and stuff, and all to be alive in the arcades and experience all that at that time. But like now, all the new stuff, it's just this year's version of last year's game and the same game from the 20 years before it.
I mean, now I understand Band-Aid 40th anniversary. My thinking was get all the old stars back in who are still alive and replace the ones that are no longer with us and have them do it again to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Right.
But to have, I mean, because we have a channel, well, actually, no, we don't have a channel. I have a Fire Stick from America, and I use a VPN to watch that stuff. And there's a Christmas music channel I watched a couple of times. I had to stop. It was just awful. It's all just modern stuff. But they were playing this video, and it's quite sad that they cut from scenes of like George Michael and Simon Le Bon singing, and then the next line is from someone I have no idea who it is, some modern artist. And it just does not work, in my opinion. How hard would it have been? Because given that it's for charity, to get all these stars from the 80s come back in the studio, do it one more time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's that one. Now, Shakin' Stevens, that's another one that I always listen to multiple times at Christmas. And it's just such a feel-good song, in my opinion. And the video with the snow and the snowball fights, that's what it's all about.
And I think you'll find that Wham, I think I'm right here, that Wham Last Christmas has made #1 again this year, Dean, in the UK.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Isn't that the third time, I think, since it was originally released?
Actually, no, it's the second time, because it never made #1 until last year.
No, it didn't, did it? No.
Yeah. Has anyone had the chance to watch the documentary on Netflix called Wham! Last Christmas Unwrapped?
No.
I watched it yesterday, or 2 days ago, in fact. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but I had to have some tissues handy. Partly because seeing all the old 80s footage made me a bit sad to think that I'm no longer there. But also, the whole cast of the video went back to the same Swiss lodge, and they were kind of sharing their stories. And of course, the main guy was no longer there to share his story. Oh my God, that's quite moving, to be honest. But it's another of these songs that back in the 80s, I really didn't care for it. But when I listen to it now, because it was all done on 80s synths and 80s drum machines, there's something just about the sound of the music that really ticks in my brain. And ultimately, it's a pretty sad song, if we're being honest. You know, it's all about heartbreak over the Christmas period. But it's a very, very much a song that is pure 80s. So that's why I really do enjoy that one. Now, David Bowie and Bing Crosby. Now, back in the 80s, I was aware of David Bowie. I wasn't a fan. I'd heard the name Bing Crosby, but to me, it was just some pop star I didn't like with an old man. And therefore, I had no real interest in the song then. But now when I hear it, I can really appreciate it. I don't know if that's on anyone else's radar or not, but finally, again, we've discussed it already. Gary Glitter, horrible human being, but good song. Now, going around the circle here, which one of these songs would be your favorite on this list? And starting with Monkey Boy.
Right. Well, I'm going to upset the apple cart a little bit. I've got to be honest. I don't like Christmas songs. I've never liked Christmas songs. I'd be happy if I never hear another Christmas song again. I don't like any of these. I didn't like them at the time. Don't like them now. If I had to listen to one, I suppose it would be the Pogues, because I quite like the singing voice of Kirsty
Shane
McCall.
McGowan? Oh, Christian McCall.
No.
I'm going to say that's an odd choice.
But no, quite honestly, I would rather be set on fire than have to listen to another Christmas song.
Okay. Jason, can you follow up on this?
Yeah, I can. I quite like Band Aid, but it gets played so much it gets on my you know what.
Yeah.
One song that doesn't get played a lot, and it is actually a really good song, and it can be a bit moving, is actually the David Bowie and Bing Crosby, the Little Drummer Boy. I mean, that is a cracking. As a kid back then, I probably didn't even like it. Yeah. But now that is a cracking good song.
Yeah, it is. So, Ed, from this list, what's your pick?
So I'm just laughing slightly because I'm just reading Ryan's comment about Bill Cosby, and I'm thinking it's not Bill Cosby next to David Bowie on that record sleeve. There must be a mix up there. But no, back to the question. I think I'll turn it around a bit. As a video, as a spectacle and song, I think the Band-Aid is hard to beat, because I think to just have, as you said earlier, Dean, all of those artists together of their time and the organisation, whatever you think of Bob Geldof, to have achieved what he did then, it was an amazing thing. You know, all the stars, the pop stars we loved at the time together. So that would be my choice. But I'm with Monkey Boy. I'm also not. I'm a bit bar humbug with the Christmas songs in the car and at home. I don't really want to hear any of them, to be honest.
So, Seth, any of these songs tickle your fancy?
No. Same
in a word.
No, I never liked Christmas songs. I never liked musicals. And for the rest, I like all kinds of music.
Okay. Okay, so no votes for Gary Glitter, which is understandable. Now, are there any modern Christmas songs you guys like?
No.
No.
Rick, run it, Monkey Boy.
Yeah. Don't hold back.
No.
Okay. So, we have some chat here. Biker Scout says, we just bought our first place. Having fun getting my collection room set up. Excellent. Glad to hear it. That's perfect time for Christmas, so you can enjoy your old toys again.
Glad as well, actually.
And congratulations. Congratulations on the purchase of your...
So Jason, and you met Biker Scout?
Yeah, met him at NEC in April, we did. Really nice guy. He does some good customs as well.
Oh, cool. Sai. Thank you, Sai. It's incredibly kind of you. Don't apologize. Please pick a number. So we have already had. Hang on. Did we have All I Want is Star Wars? We had 4 and 5. So how about All I Want is Star Wars? That might be good for you. Well, thank you, Sai. Very kind.
Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is Star Wars.
Oh dear. Tim is saying hello to Sai. Right back at Tim. Nice one. Oh yeah, nice one. Thank you again, Sai. Very kind. I loved Bill Cosby as a kid growing up and into my adulthood. So yeah, so again, another of these ones who has the accusations. Sometimes separate the art from the artist. Merry Christmas to Ben. I love Bill Cosby as a kid. I'm crushed every time I see him or her now. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've not watched Gary Glitter do his video. I have it on my playlist, audio only, so I don't see the guy. But yeah, what he did was absolutely horrendous. Ryan Porter, I love Bill Cosby. Oh, okay, again. Hi to Sai. I love. Oh, wow! Hang on. Am I in a time warp here or what? Hang on. No, it's just. I think it's just coming up many times.
Yeah.
Hi, B and Tim. And Ryan says Band-Aid was big in America and still is. Just heard it on the radio yesterday. Now, didn't America do "We Are the World" with like Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Springsteen, Tina Turner?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But wasn't Band-Aid? Wasn't there a US version as well as a UK version? Didn't it? Wasn't it one of those live linked by satellites, which we take for granted these days? But wasn't there also something that was sort of in tandem, not at the same, not at the Christmas time of year, but there was.
No, that was Live Aid.
That was like another year.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Live Aid. Sorry.
Yeah, that was Live Aid '85. So I think we had Wembley Stadium in the UK.
That's
and
right.
It was in Philadelphia in America.
Yes.
And that's where Duran played in Philadelphia, and Simon Le Bon's voice really cracked on "A View to a Kill," which is quite embarrassing for him and any fans of the band. Hi to Be the Geek Toy Review. I'm with Monkey Boy. Bah humbug. Hi to Tim. So Sai says, yeah, I have to agree with Monkey Boy, but I'm partial to a bit of Sinatra swing Christmas songs. Yeah. Ant says, I have an unapologetic love of Christmas songs, especially favorites of family members who are unfortunately no longer with us. Music is the best way to go back in time. The absence of a time machine. Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I think actually for the first time ever, so my playlist for Christmas is all the stuff going back in time. And almost every year for the last 5 years, I've got quite emotional when certain songs come on because those were my parents' favorite songs, but it didn't happen this year. So maybe I'm emotionally stronger. Who knows?
Got a question, I think.
Yeah.
Do you play the radio in Thailand? The national channels?
No.
I was that beats my question. I was going to ask you, what do they play?
You know what? Actually, come to think of it, I think I do have a transistor radio somewhere. I'll need to actually see if I can tune it into something to see what they do play. Yeah. I mean, sadly, I think we've all become accustomed to streaming services and YouTube live streams of radio channels and things. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to investigate that, Jason. Justin has been listening to satellite radio, and they've been playing some metal versions of Christmas songs. Interesting.
Rock on.
Yeah, Wham, Shaky, and the Pogues are my favorite out of that bunch. Pogues at a Push as the best one. Okay. Tim says Father Christmas by the Kinks is a fun Christmas pop song. Interesting. Hello, everyone, says Adrian. And Tim says, yes, We Are the World and Hands Across America. I thought so. Hi to Adrian. Tim says hello, Adrian, and Adrian says hi there. Hang on, this again.
Yeah, he's done another one.
Oh, Sai, thank you. This is incredibly generous of you. And you want number 2. If you need a number 2, I suggest the bathroom. But number 2 is every day is Star Wars Day. And I don't even know what that is. So here we go. Every day is Star Wars Day.
It's getting really close to Christmas Day. But in my house, every day is Star Wars Day.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sai. Incredibly kind of you. Oh, hang on, let me skip one there. What of Star Wars do you want for Christmas? So I'll pass that round the table. Monkey Boy first.
Vintage wise, I think I'd probably go for a Rancor because I don't have the Rancor. Modern, not sure. To be honest, I've got most of the modern Star Wars I want, so I think I'd probably go for a Rancor. Thanks, Tim. I'll expect it in the post soon.
Jason, what are you wanting for Star Wars Christmas?
Well, what I would like, or as I say, maybe find the last 17 Ewok I need. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he's one of the dark colour ones. Or it would be the Death Star. And I mean, and it would have to be the Kenner version.
Yeah.
The American version. Because to me, that had more pay value. But again, it's not going to happen. I've got more chance of getting the last 17 figure than Death Star.
Seth, is there anything on your list Star Wars wise for Christmas?
The shuttle Tidarium. I would have loved that. Especially in the 80s.
I have that as well.
That it was like a bit of legendary status for me because I had a cousin living in the US, and only thing I knew about the shuttle was a little Polaroid I got from my cousin where he was posing next to his shuttle. But I think by the time I was playing with Star Wars, the few things I could still buy in the toy shop never contained the shuttle. I never saw it. I just knew about it. And then years later, of course, I discovered how cool it was. The shuttle.
Love to have one.
Yeah, I think it's one of Kenner's finest vehicles they made.
Is it the biggest? Is it the biggest Star Wars vehicle?
Could be.
For the vintage line, but not now.
How would it stack up if you place it next to the Death Star playset? Is it bigger?
Now, in terms of the cockpit, how many figures can you fit in there?
2, I think.
Isn't it?
There's a space in the back, a cargo space where you could place a few figures, but in the front are only 2.
Okay, and Ed, anything on your list this year Star Wars related?
Well, some good TV or movie content would be a starting point. But other than that, I definitely would like the shuttle Tidarium. I asked for it one Christmas, was incredibly excited one Christmas to tear the wrapping paper off, seeing the words shuttle Tidarium, continue to take the rest of the wrapping paper off to see a little Airfix logo in the corner. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I don't think I ever had the patience to make anything, even the simplest thing, in Airfix. And as you can imagine, this was quite a complex kit. I think I took the lid off the box, looked at the 1,000,001 parts, and just, I don't actually know what ever happened to it, but it never got started. It was so mind-bogglingly complex. I don't know. Probably a big disappointment, to say the least. I'd like to be able to get it. But they fetch silly money. I can't imagine it ever sold in big quantity, that toy, because the scarcity must be why they always go for silly money, because they just must have been huge, and stores obviously didn't have many in stock. They didn't expect to sell many. What did it cost back in the day?
Yeah,
Was it?
Good question. I was just wondering. Yeah,
Yeah, don't know.
they would probably be in the higher price range of the Kenner products.
Probably about 50, 60 quid, probably.
Yeah, because
How much?
given that I did the 84 Argos catalogue, and I think Millennium Falcon was about £23 in 84.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
I don't know, 30, 40 pounds maybe? Yeah.
I mean, they're going at the moment. What I've seen at fairs and stuff, you're looking anything from 500, and that's what I call a bad one, up to 1,000 and more for a good one. And I just couldn't. Much as I'd love to get one, I can't sort that. I think.
Right. So, Sai is saying hello to James, and Ben has come in. Thank you, Ben. Very, very kind of you. Very much appreciated. Now, you said whatever's left. So, if I just go through the list here, hang on. But all I want is Star Wars. Have we had Star Wars gifts for Christmas? I don't think so.
I think number 3 is the one left.
Yeah, number 3. So let's try number 3. Thank you, Ben. Very kind.
Nice
If
one,
you
Ben.
claim to be a fan of Star Wars and you don't ask for Star Wars presents for Christmas, then you're not a real Star Wars fan.
Yes, there we go. Hey, anyway, thank you, Ben. Very kind. Sai has then said, Tim, for Disney to make a good Star Wars series, yeah. Anyone here watched the Skeleton Crew?
No.
Trailer.
I
watched the trailer.
Yeah, I've watched it so far.
Yeah.
I started watching the first 10 minutes, and then I listened to the first one of these parties and your advice that a 10-year-old would absolutely love it. And I thought, right, I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to watch it with my son, which I fully intend to do. And I'm sure I'll be the same as you, Dean. I'll sit there, cringe, and think, this isn't at all for me. But if he enjoys it, then I'll get a bit out of it as well.
Yeah. I mean, make no mistake, it's a great show for children. And if that's what they're going for, then they've succeeded, but it's not aimed at us. So, Grid Runners Shack says, hi, just making a Christmas apple crumble. Are you guys custard or ice cream? Ooh, I could go either way.
I mean, custard, I think, please, Grid Runner. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
I'll take the custard too, please.
Yeah, I've custard.
I'm not so sure what custard is. I'm sorry, maybe the translation of the word.
It's like a vanilla-flavored yellow sauce.
You may know it as creme anglaise.
Yeah.
I was saying, I thought you got custard in Belgium.
Sorry?
Ed coming in hot with the translation there.
Well, I'm in France at the moment, so the creme anglaise is free-flowing at the moment, especially after the Sam Fox feature. But anyway,
And Tim says, I wouldn't count on it as long as Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger are still in charge. Hi to Governor Shack. Ice cream for me. I don't like custard. You don't like custard? Hi to me. Yeah, would be a real Christmas miracle. I'll take ice cream with mine. So this is Christmas Slade. Hello to everyone in the chat, and Dean and everyone on podcast. Well, thank you.
Hey, man.
Biker Scout says, listening to Christmas songs and watching TV shows of the 80s era on YouTube definitely brings back the memories, especially of my gran. Very emotional. Yeah. I was watching an old Johnny Cash Christmas special from 1977, and it was just so wholesome. It was all just authentic, family-oriented fun for everyone to watch. Whereas, whilst I don't watch a lot of modern television, what I have seen does not appear to me to be sort of family oriented. It's all sort of politically charged and overly sexualized. It's not good.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy who likes Samantha Fox, bear in mind. Hi to Drawing. Hello there. Hi. What we got here? I'd love a Y-Wing fighter. Never got one of those. Actually, that's one of the toys that I stopped Star Wars in spring of '84. And I didn't know Y-Wing was a thing. Likewise, figures like Emperor, Leia in her Endor poncho, I did not know existed until I got back into things. So, yeah. And then, so then the question arises, if I ever were to be in a position where money was no option, would I really want these things because I wasn't aware of them as a child? Because for me, pretty much what I collect has to be something I either had or wanted as a child. And given that I didn't know the existence of Y-Wing, why would I want one now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but didn't you want an I-Wing even not knowing it existed as a child?
I don't know, because I mean,
I remember like when I watched the movie and I saw my toy, the I-Wing's not there. How cool would it be?
Yeah.
I mean,
Gentleman got the pilot.
Yeah, there's no pilot for the Y-Wing, that's right.
Yeah.
But I did allude to this last week, and I know it sounds very strange, but I do not consider myself a toy collector. I am now, I was going to say historian, that's very pompous. I'm not a historian, but I am someone who is very much focused on collecting relics from my past. And yes, they are indeed toys, but I don't view them as toys. And therefore, a Y-Wing is a toy I was not aware of as a child. And therefore, I really have no desire to put my hands on it now. Does that make sense or not?
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's like someone was just saying in the chat about watching YouTube videos, stirring all that nostalgia and those good memories and those happy times. And it's the same with the toys, isn't it? If you remember that particular, I mean, like, I remember I've got this game, Mini Munchman. I think it's a sort of a Pac-Man rip-off, one of those tabletop grandstand games like Astro Wars. And I found it the other day. It's absolutely terrible to play. But yet I remember playing that sort of throughout the whole Christmas holidays, thinking it was absolutely amazing. But to find it and all the nostalgia it brought back was good enough that the game didn't need to be good. So I think it's like the toys. They don't necessarily need to be even good toys, but you've got to have the memory of them. Otherwise, the toy needs to be very, very good to override any sort of need for nostalgia. So that's my feeling on it.
Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is, there are so many things I remember from childhood that I don't have, that I could spend my whole life trying to collect those things before I even approach things I didn't know were things when I was young. So I have enough to be contending with. I don't need to branch out into things I wasn't aware of.
But that's when I look at like when I look at the Lego Star Wars, I have absolutely no interest in that. I could admire it and think, actually, that's quite cool. My friend's got this £800 Millennium Falcon, I think, or Star Destroyer, whichever one it is. Absolutely huge thing. But for me, it's like that was never around. I've got no memories of that at all. And although that it's quite cool, I'd much rather spend the money on the toys I remember playing with than I have the nostalgia for.
Yeah, exactly. So Sai is saying, okay, guys, have to go. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you in the new year. Well, thank you, Sai. Merry Christmas to you. Tim has to go. Well, thank you for tuning in, Tim. It's good to see you here. Have a good Christmas to Sai. Have a good Christmas to Sai. And we've got the TV Rewind channel, and they're showing Policewoman and Return of the Saint. Nice. Rich says, you collect nostalgia. That's exactly what I collect. And Ben says, hi to Rich. So, that's the 2 hour mark. So, okay, we're going to wrap this up, but does anyone have anything they want to say about Christmas, be it present day or something from the past? Just go round if anyone wants to interject.
I do have one Christmas memory that
Yes.
stands out. It was one Christmas Eve. I guess my father must have bought some sleigh bells. You remember those little things that used to have in the music class,
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
sort of sleigh bells. I think he
Yeah.
must have bought some of those, because I remember hearing these sleigh bells jingling in the
Mhm.
night time, and then I heard some footsteps coming into the bedroom. But I was so excited, I hid under the covers and didn't peek.
Ah,
So I don't know
Yeah.
whether he dressed up as Santa. I've got
Right.
no idea. But I
Yeah.
remember hearing the sleigh bells and going, Santa's here.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, wasn't it such a better thing before you knew the true identity of Santa, where it was this mystic figure that would fly through the sky and just leave toys?
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing for kids. And did you have the arsehole in school who would ruin the whole surprise for you all?
With the older
remember
brother.
how I found out.
Yeah.
I really don't remember how I found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had the older brother, thought they were cool by ruining it for everyone,
Yeah.
didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember being
remember-
crushed when I found out. It was really, could not believe it. Well,
I
Yeah.
remember
Because
asking it in the classroom, and we were just sitting all, and the teacher was in front, and I just asked in front of the whole class. I said to the teacher, I heard that. In our case, it was Sinterklaas. That is, it is your parents who are organizing it. It was been a very tough moment for the teacher.
Yeah.
And everyone else. You
said, like,
ruined so many people's childhoods.
I did it like the whole class in one day.
Yeah.
But no, and the teacher's answer was quite diplomatic. She said, "You should discuss that with your parents."
Now,
I think if I share a memory, I think for me the whole build up of Christmas was just like as a child was amazing in the 80s. And don't forget, these weren't rehashed. These were like everything was new, and like we were saying earlier about innovation and stuff.
Yeah.
All these things, whether it was He-Man coming in or whether it was later on with Transformers or what, these were all new. No one had seen these before, not remakes and rehashes and regurgitated stuff, lazily sort of and cheaply reproduced. So for me it was just like an amazing time. And for me the memory of Christmas Day and the sort of probably the days after was as much the excitement of going to your friend's house and seeing what they'd got, because everyone got different things. And we didn't have social media and all that rubbish that people saw everything instantly. It was an exciting part of taking some of your things around to a friend's and seeing what Spectrum game did they get, or what Star Wars ship did they get, and you sort of bring it all together. And it was that was an amazing sort of excitement of the whole thing, sharing in that time. It was a simpler time, wasn't it? I suppose. Slightly simpler pleasures.
I always enjoyed visiting friends and then seeing which Star Wars or G.I. Joe toys that they had.
Right.
These were the moments where I got to know other toys than the ones I had. Yeah, you saw these little booklets, these catalogs, but for the rest, there was no social media or internet to show.
I mean, I think that was it. Aside from those catalog booklets and the odd TV commercial, you had no idea what toys were available.
No.
And on some occasions, you would get a real surprise on Christmas when you got something that you did not know existed. And that was one of the best surprises ever.
I had that usually with G.I. Joe. They had so many. Could be my impression, but G.I. Joe had a bigger range of toys than Star Wars, or more variations. So
that got them bigger.
Yeah. So I'll just catch up real quick here. Ben says hi to Rich, and Ant says off to a Christmas lights walk. I'll catch up on the rest later. Merry Christmas to all. Thanks to the stream. Well, thank you for tuning in. Ben says, great stream, Dean, and the whole panel. Thanks, and have a lovely Christmas and a very Merry Christmas to all in the chat. It's been a great continuing this Xmas live stream tradition. Well, thank you, Ben.
Cheers, Ben.
Justin says, Christmas was just more special when I was a kid and being with family, with our grandparents, keeping the extended family together. Not the same now, but just as special with our kids. Well, that's good that you're continuing the tradition. And Bearded Geek Toy Review says, have a great Christmas, everyone. All the best for next year. Wow. Actually, just seeing that written there, 2025. That's the future, isn't it?
In the future.
Yeah. 2025. Wow. And well, thank you, Justin, and Merry Christmas to you. So anyway, I want to say thank you to all these guys who came on here, gave up their time. I really appreciate you coming on. I hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having us, Dean.
And,
it's good to see you all, guys.
Yeah, likewise.
And hope you all have a lovely Christmas.
Absolutely. And you too. And do you have anything coming up you want to announce or publicize?
Who, me?
Anyone.
You can always follow me there. Looking at my work is there on Instagram. I might update my YouTube channel, but that's all other work. So
now, am I living in the dark ages by not using Instagram? I've never used Instagram.
To be honest, I've been using it only for a year and a half or something.
I don't use it either.
Yeah.
Oh, I use it, but I don't. I got to admit, I don't use much of it now. I'm doing. I think I swap in YouTube Shorts sometimes to TikTok Shorts, and where I used to do a lot more on Instagram. Now I think I still go on Instagram to have a look, but I don't really post anything on Instagram now, rarely.
Oh. Yeah, it's all just too much, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
and then I'm hitting. So I think I have Facebook and Twitter, but now I'm hearing about this Blue Sky is the new thing to, it's all just too much. Yes, but anyway, thank you all for coming on, and I hope everyone watching enjoyed it. And I want to say a very Merry Christmas to everyone, both here on screen and in the chat. And maybe we can try do more live streams. Again, I have to stress, it's now after midnight here. And in order to accommodate the British audience, because my memories of the 80s are from the UK, I have to do it to get the British people in. And I know that it's not a great time for everyone to watch or take part, but maybe, who knows, maybe I can wake up in the middle of the night and go back to the old time slot. I give no guarantees, but that may have to happen because I know that, in America, I mean, for example, Tree was up at 7 in the morning to come on here. What a champion he is. And that's the same for the whole of the West Coast. They're in bed. They're not watching this. I think the UK starts at 3 p.m. and depending on the football schedule, I think most people are watching the game. So I've got to do some planning here, but it's been an absolute honor to have you guys come on and discuss Christmas back in the 80s. And Ryan has just said, thank you. Well, thank you for tuning in, Ryan. So that's it for now. That's it for another year. That is the end of the Christmas parties.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Dean. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
So,
take care and have a good Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to all, and we will see you all next time. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from them.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.